My name is Michelle Meadows, and I have the honor of being the executive director for both Neighbors Helping Neighbors and Fifth Avenue Committee. And on behalf of the Fifth Avenue Committee and Neighbors Helping Neighbors Board of Directors and NHN and FACT's amazing staff, I want to thank you all for coming and for your support. It's absolutely greatly appreciated. This is our annual bash, and our theme today couldn't be more appropriate, especially given that a little less than 2 hours ago, the Supreme Court shockingly upheld the Trump Muslim ban. Yeah, exactly. And our theme is defiant, and it's courageous, and it's strong, and it's our community, our immigrant community's here to stay. Doesn't matter what any court at this point says. As someone who is the daughter of immigrants, the granddaughter of immigrants, the wife of an immigrant, I think we all know that the destructive bills and the rhetoric and the policies coming out of Washington are truly devastating, which really points to how fortunate we are to be here in New York City, to be in a place where the narrative is 180 degrees from what is going on in Washington. And there's no mistake about why that's happening. And we're here today to celebrate why that's happening, to celebrate the courageous stories of local leaders who are willing to stand up, regardless of immigration status. We're here to celebrate really smart advocacy at citywide and statewide levels that ensures that the institutions that we all count on are here and benefiting all New Yorkers, and we're here to celebrate a tremendous local elected leader. So with that, I just want to start. I want to reflect back maybe in a second from another time. Our former president and author of A Nation of Immigrants, John F. Kennedy, observed, "Everywhere immigrants have enriched and strengthened the fabric of American life." He continued in his book, "There are probably as many reasons for coming to America as there were people who came: religious persecution, political oppression, and economic hardship. They were responding in their own way to the pledge of the Declaration of Independence, the promise of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Immigration policy should be generous, it should be fair, it should be flexible. With such a policy, we can turn to the world and to our own past with clean hands and a clear conscience. Some of yesterday's immigrants have supplied a continuous flow of creative abilities and ideas that have enriched our nation. The immigrants we welcome today and tomorrow will carry on this tradition and help us to retain, reinvigorate, and strengthen the American spirit." That's true presidential leadership. That is the inspiration that I think we all seek, and at this point we're turning to one another for it. I want to invite up a true resource for NHN. Neighbors Helping Neighbors is really fortunate to have extremely talented and dedicated staff. And the amazing thing is that ever since NHN became affiliated with Fifth Avenue Committee 6 years ago, nearly to the day, we've had Robert McCool and Marcella Matenas and Eva Levy, who's not here today with us, who have truly served the community with tremendous honor, respect, and courage. And so I'm going to invite up Robert McCool, who's the Director of Housing Counseling Programs at NHN. We're going to go a little out of order on our program for awardees, and he's going to present our special recognition award to ANHD, who is a tremendous partner to both NHN and Fifth Avenue Committee. Robert, come on up.
Thank you, Michelle. I am very excited to present this award of special recognition to Jamie and Benjamin at ANHD for their hard work keeping banks responsive to lower income and immigrant communities. Their campaigns combine feedback from nonprofits with a deep understanding of community needs and government regulations to push banks to increase their outreach and offer better financial products and services. They have a real impact on making sure that all New Yorkers have a safe place to bank. They ensure that first-time homebuyers have access to affordable mortgages that are competitive and fair, and their campaigns help to make sure that banks treat struggling homeowners with fairness as well. Importantly, they also have a strong influence in making sure that banks are offering services to immigrants, including working with the NYCID and offering improved language access. In the NHN homeownership program, ANHD always makes our work easier by creating high-level and high-quality support and advocacy for the participants who we serve. So I'm very happy to present this award to Jamie and Benjamin.
Let's do the photo. All right, we're gonna do the quick photo. Sorry. You know how this works. You guys hold it. You got it? It's heavy. Okay.
Thank you. I feel like I should thank Robert because all of the work that we do is really based in our members, and Robert is one of my key resources in terms of what housing counselors need and what you need for your members. So I appreciate your input too. And I also took his class. So personally,
First time home buyers.
yes. But the work that, when you talk about working with immigrant communities, it's something that's personal to me and my own family and also to the communities that we serve. And New York is a community of immigrants. So the work that we do in terms of access to banking, access to home ownership, responsible lending and multifamily housing, this impacts immigrant communities. And so it's really crucial that banks are acting responsibly because everything they do will impact our communities. And that means our immigrant communities. So whether it's pushing banks, trying to get more banks to take the ID NYC and to make strides in accepting other forms of ID. Whether it's making sure that they're speaking our languages and culturally competent. All of this comes from our members like strong members like yours. So I appreciate the work that you do so we can do our work better. So thank you.
Great. Thank you to Benjamin, to Jamie. I just want to say that it's been a number of years now since ANHD started publishing an annual report on how banks are meeting the community development needs of New York City's low and moderate income families and communities, and it has really, it's become quite the source of information. I know that many bank executives in New York and the region wait with bated breath to see how they fare compared to their peers and overall. So it's important. Accountability is important, and that is exactly what ANHD is doing day in and day out. I want to. We're going to be turning now, really focus on the leadership that's provided by our local council member Carlos Menchaca. And also from our tenant leaders. But before I do that, we're going to show a very, very short video. I promise it's very short, but it's great because what you don't get a sense of here is many weeks out of the year we are organizing in buildings. We're in front of buildings. We are at the offices of various landlords of the city, holding folks accountable. And it takes a lot of courage to stand up and make known what is going on, the kinds of conditions that people are subjected to, often because of their immigration status. So we want people to get a sense of that and really how significant the leadership is of both our councilmen and our local leaders. So with that, we'll do the video.
Council members across the city noticed that construction as harassment was a problem that was happening and banded together to introduce 12 bills to fight landlords. They reformed the Department of Buildings so that the Department of Buildings will be a city agency that's accountable to tenants and not landlords. It punishes landlords who repeatedly violate the law by increasing penalties so that breaking the law is just not the normal pattern of doing business. Fight, fight, fight!
If you live in a building where you see this is happening, you need to go online and you need to contact even Marcella from Neighbors Helping Neighbors. She can actually reach out and get you organized in order to find out what's really happening on the property that you're living in.
I am from the group Neighbors Helping Neighbors. We, as tenants and citizens of New York, must defend our rights and think about the future generation. Think about the kids.
Why do you do this as a preteen in New York?
Because we kids are future generation, and because I didn't like the way that the landlord treated my family.
Fight, fight, fight!
So just. So that's just a taste of some of the recent press conferences and demonstrations that have happened that are really led by the tenant leaders in Sunset Park, and really we're very, very fortunate to have the support of our councilman, Carlos Menchaca. With that, I'm going to invite up Marcela Matenas, who really in Sunset Park needs absolutely no introduction. Coordinates the NHN Sunset Park office, and she's going to help present the Community Leadership Award.
Thank you everyone for being here. Sunset Park was not always as desirable a place to live in. Before all the attention, people came here because it was affordable. Immigrants descended on Sunset Park and helped create the thriving, culturally and economically diverse community that got the attention of the New York Times, calling Sunset Park the hottest neighborhood. In 2013, there was a vast change with the election of the first Mexican American voted into the city council. Before he took office, he obliged me by agreeing to a presentation. I wanted to let our incoming councilmen learn about the tenant issues straight from the tenants themselves. Tenants talked about the ongoing harassment and lack of basic services. They were being targeted because they were immigrants. Little did we all know how much things would change with the election of a new president. But there he was, the chair of the Immigration Committee and our councilman, taking action as the announcement of the travel ban rocked New York. But he didn't just show up, he made things happen. From the municipal ID program, which allows those afraid to come out of the shadows, to having an on-site defender program for undocumented immigrants, to the greatest city allocation in recent history for adult literacy services. He supports, you can clap. He supports innovative programs for immigrant day laborers, street vendors, and worker cooperatives. He supports the building of affordable housing and income levels that reflect the community's needs. He has allocated more than $2 million to the participatory budget, which allows voting by all residents, regardless of immigration status, and for the first time, middle school students. Under his leadership, produced the highest number of participatory budget voters citywide for 4 years in a row. He has also supported the cause that is dear and near to my heart. He continues to fight gentrification by supporting tenants through the various legislation and campaigns like the Stand for Tenant Safety, helping secure New York for a second year with a 0% increase by testifying before the Rent Guidelines Board. Strengthening legislation aimed to curb harassment and help usher the right to counsel in housing court, which gives tenants facing evictions the right to a lawyer. I am proud to have a dedicated and present councilman. You have been an inspiration. You have given us the will to do and to continue fighting. And I'd like to consider you a slumlord slayer. I'm proud to introduce our honoree, the re-elected councilman representing District 38, Carlos Michanga.
Un aplauso para Marcela y Michelle and Neighbors Helping Neighbors. Good evening. Buenas noches y muchas gracias a todos que están aquí. Las palabras aquí son muy especial porque nosotros logramos mucho cada año, juntos, unidos. Y eso no puede pasar sin representación. Y eso soy yo, el representante de este distrito. All the stuff that we just heard about, all the victories, we do that together, we do that united, and we do that because there's representation. Each of the voices in our community come up and they come directly to government, and you get closer to government, and that's how things change. Laws change, policies get discussed, and we get to advocate for each other as a community. And I've seen so many beautiful things happen in the last 4 years where communities are beginning to come together and understand each other's struggle. And that manifests in pressure to me as the council member to do better and do more. And also connect to other council members so that we can actually do the great things that need to happen in our communities that are going through so much change. And that is what's scaring so much of us as the federal government continues to attack us, each and every one of us, whether we're women, immigrants, LGBT, or just working families. And that force that we see in Sunset Park and in Red Hook and the rest of the district is something that's going to hold strong, because when families unite, and advocate together, when families unite and protest together, when families unite and help each other out and vote together, and some of us could not have voted, but a lot of us voted in consideration for our neighbors who could not vote. That is a transformation that has taken over Sunset Park and the rest of the city, and it's in the middle of the work that Helping Neighbors is doing, and Fifth Avenue Committee, and that is the power that we're going to have that's going to be stronger and live longer than any Trump administration will ever live, and we will be the powerful force for this city. So I am just the lucky one that gets to be in the council voting on behalf of all the people in our district, and that makes me such a proud member of this community. So thank you so much for this award, and I'm not going to stop. But I think we have some other folks that we're going to bring up here that are going to present themselves. Okay, I'll be right back.
So this is what it takes, right? It takes local leaders joining together with elected leaders. Yo quiero invitarle a todos los inquilinos aquí arriba, por favor, para ayudarnos. We have Fabiola. We have Samantha.
La familia Bravo.
La familia Bravo, por favor.
Amalia y Flor. Yeah. Amalia y Flor, Minerva, Fabiola, Alma, por favor, que se pueden acercar acá arriba, por favor.
Y Aura y Stephanie.
Aura y Stephanie. You're looking at the face of the power of Sunset Park. Los inquilinos. ¿Hablar? ¿Quién va a hablar? Is this move?
El primero es para Minerva, Amalia Morán. I just want to say thank you, Amalia, because I know that not only you have to organize your building, but you also tell us when there's a building that needs help, or there's no gas, and you come out and you tell them about your story, about how you're being harassed in your building, and how important it is to organize. Thank you for that. Quiero darle las gracias a Amalia porque a veces nos dice cuando hay un inquilino que necesita ayuda o un edificio que no tiene gas, y ella va y dice su historia, qué importante es organizar no solamente en su edificio, sino en la comunidad. Gracias, Amalia. Thank you, la siguiente es, the next one is for Flo Moran, also a warrior in the community. She fights back, she knocks on the doors, and she makes sure all the tenants come out and not to be scared and organize in the community. Thank you. Gracias, porque ella organiza la comunidad y no tiene miedo, aunque el dueño los acosa mucho, pero ella siempre está ahí tocando las puertas y asegurándose que todos salgan y que pierdan el miedo.
Buenas noches. Mi nombre es Flor Moran. Agradezco este reconocimiento. Muchas gracias Aura, muchas gracias Marcela, muchas gracias a esta organización que gracias a ellas hemos aprendido cómo defendernos de los acosos de los dueños de las casas. Hemos estado uniéndonos a todos los vecinos míos de mi edificio también. Y como dijo la señora Aura y el señor Menchaca, que unidos no no, nadie nos podrá vencer. Entonces vamos a continuar hacia adelante y yo espero seguir ayudando a mis vecinos también. Gracias.
Y este es uno de los reconocimientos muy especiales para la familia Bravo. This is a for a special family, the Bravo family, because not only they're organizing the buildings and in the community, but also they come out and testify in different things to make sure that we pass the laws that protect the tenants. Thank you.
Hi everyone! Thank you guys for giving us the award. You guys taught us that we have a voice and that we should use it to our advantage. So thank you Marcela, Aula, Michelle, Stephanie, guys and Chaka. Thank you.
El próximo conocimiento es para la señora Alma Calixto. Alma vino a la oficina porque tenía un problema. Descubrimos que el problema no era solamente de ella, sino del edificio entero, y ella pudo convencer a sus vecinos a trabajar juntos. Y también tuvo la oportunidad de hablar a la prensa sobre sus problemas, y eso es algo muy importante, porque lo que queremos demostrar es que esto no es un problema solo, sino esto le está pasando a varias personas, y entonces sí es cosas que podemos pelear y podemos ganar. So I want to recognize Alma Calixto. Alma Calixto came into the office when she had just an issue. We realized the issue was building wide, and she was able to galvanize her building. But not just that, not only did she motivate the other tenants to get involved, she had the courage to speak to the press about the issues. And that's very important, because it's important to share what's happening. These are not isolated incidents. It's happening to many people across not just our borough, but the city. And it's important to know that there is a way to fight back and win.
Yes. Primeramente que todo, muchas gracias. Esto no solo es mío, es de ustedes también por ayudarnos y estar ayudando a nuestra comunidad, porque están pasando muchas cosas en la comunidad y no se sabe. Si nosotros no hablamos, se quedan callados y nadie habla, ¿ven? Y por eso pasan esto, los terceros siguen abusando de nosotros, ¿verdad? Y qué bueno que hay organizaciones que nos puedan ayudar. Y ahí está Aura, Marcela, y nos están ayudando mucho en eso. Y yo me siento bien orgullosa de ellos, que son bien fuertes. Y yo no sabía nada también. Y yo les doy, esto es de ustedes también, porque entre todos, si hablamos y no nos quedamos callados, nosotros somos más fuertes, porque siguen abusando de uno, ¿ven? Ajá. Y muchas gracias a todos. Les agradezco mucho por la ayuda.
This work isn't easy. Specifically about, it's a specialty of law that you have to understand, but it's also a very emotional, because it's affecting our families. And I'd just like to take this opportunity to recognize my staff. I'd like to recognize Aura García and Stephanie Leibowitz. And I'd like to recognize our colleagues over at the Fifth Avenue Committee, Elena Andrade, Carlos Pacheco, and our new additions, Liam and Emmett.
Gracias a todos, y inquilinos unidos jamás serán vencidos. I'm going to invite Julio Peña from the NHN board to close us out. Y muchas gracias a todos ustedes por toda la ayuda y por seguir a los líderes, exactamente. Vamos a hacer un foto al grupo y luego vamos a seguir adelante.
Okay. All right, we take 6 pictures. First picture, look at him. Sophia.
I also just want to recognize Melissa Del Valle Ortiz from Congresswoman Lydia Velasquez's office and longtime Sunset Park resident and fellow tenant, advocate and leader.
Thank you. I have a unique affiliation with Neighbors Helping Neighbors. Yeah. And I have a speech to read. And I want to send a shout out to Marisol Crease, my old boss, and Neighbors Helping Neighbors, original executive director. Thank you very much. So every part of everything who I am is Mariadel's fault. So let me read this because I need to stay on track and I want to hurry up the agenda. So I've been on this mic before representing myself. And tonight I have the distinct honor of representing Congresswoman Lydia Velasquez. Before I begin, I'd like to call out Robert McCool, Auda, Marcella, Stephanie, Joanna, and of course Michelle de la Uz. Come on down. I know y'all wasn't expecting this. Come on, come on, come on. Bring it. Not right every time. Hey, get it in, get it in. Who am I missing? Who's missing? That's everybody? Okay, good. I want you all to join in accepting an organizational recognition to Neighbors Helping Neighbors for the hundreds, if not thousands, of tenants and home buyers that NHN has helped throughout the years. Home ownership is, of course, part of the American dream. To give someone a place they own is a powerful gift. And to empower someone to do it, well, that's a gift all by itself. So thank you so much, Robert, and Miss Lorraine, who has since moved on, but thank you for your work toward that end. So there are awards here for Neighbors Helping Neighbors. Woohoo! For Robert. Yeah, you just pass them on. Okay. We're just gonna go through formalities. Okay. So for other families, however, ownership is a long road ahead. And as you know, Congresswoman is a stout advocate for tenants, housing, and low-income families. I would like to therefore recognize the following women: Auda, Marcella, Stephanie, and Joanna. It's not often that a tenant gets to recognize the people that helped her along the way. So this is a very unique honor for me. These 4 women, like many grassroots organizers across the country, are part of the housing organizing fabric that spans across the United States. In Sunset Park and across the district, these 4 women have saved countless families from losing their homes. They have dedicated hundreds of hours away from their own families to work late nights, climbing stairs in buildings with no elevators, to do door knocking, to host tenant meetings, put up flyers. They have stayed after community meeting to briefly translate for an additional 45 minutes. And in some cases, take late night calls from tenants with odd working hours. While many of us are sleeping in late, they have donated weekend morning hours to organize barbecues or gather tenants to attend rallies and protests in Albany, DC, and City Hall. They have missed out on school plays, on parent-teacher nights, and in some cases, forsaken even themselves and their personal time to help families from being displaced. Know that I have bore witness to all of these acts, and if you ask them, they will tell you, I'm just doing my job. But know that they are not just doing their jobs. They are saving lives. They're empowering families, putting families at ease at the end of a long court battle, giving rest to the weary. You don't see them, but know that they are draped by an invisible cape. because they are the superheroes for hundreds, and I mean hundreds, of families in Brooklyn. If not for these 4 women here tonight, the work they dedicate their lives to, many families would be without a home, without a bed to sleep in, and some children without a best friend to have lunch with. Ladies and gentlemen, when you donate tonight to Neighbors Helping Neighbors, you're supporting the amazing and honorable staff of Neighbors Helping Neighbors, led by their executive director, Michelle Dalauz. Each one of them, I'm proud to call a friend and honored to give congressional recognition tonight for their invaluable work, community leadership, and service. Please buy them lots of drinks. A juice.
This is what tenant leadership becomes in Sunset Park. With that, thank you so much, Melissa, for that. We really, really appreciate it. We know that it comes from the heart because she's been on the front lines with us for many, many years in the tenant movement.
Okay, that is all.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. Let's give a round of applause to our amazing honorees and residents. I'd also like to give a special thank you to our sponsors this evening for this event. Would not be able to happen without their support. So let's give them another round of applause, please. And we're going to hold that thought for 10 seconds.
I'd like to call up Fabiola, please.
Fabiola, perfecto. A tiempo.
So we'd also like to recognize Fabiola for her tenant leadership. Fabiola had to withstand almost 10 months of no cooking gas, repairs not being done, and then to add insult to injury, your landlord was running for city council. I remember. Yeah.
Who came in last?
It was her leadership that helped with the tenants and gather them together. But it was her leadership of wanting to preserve the housing that she had for her family. And we want to recognize you. She also spoke at various press conferences, testified before the Rent Guidelines Board, and also was brave enough to share her story with the press. We need to continue hearing these voices and hearing these stories so that we can continue combating the tenant harassment. And we need to keep fighting for tenants' rights.
I wish I could take the credit for a lot of things Marcella said, but quite honestly, if it wasn't for Neighbors Helping Neighbors, who helped us put our voices together in unison to get all of this accomplished, I can't even tell you, we wouldn't even begin to know where to start. So I really want to give it back to her and to Neighbors Helping Neighbors for all they helped us do against this really treacherous landlord. Yes.
Thank you, Fabiola. Thank you, Marcella. And back to the final pieces.
Sunset Park is a very unique community. It's home to a lot of families. People grow up here. But it's very important that people are active in the community and engaged to really make changes in the community. Whether you've been here for 3 months, 3 years, or 30 years, we're all residents. And it's important for us to stand up and to fight back. And I also want to make an important note that the work that NHN is doing and other organizations are really important. And we made a comment earlier that it's a work of heart. I joke with Marcella sometimes that we go out of a community board meeting at 9 o'clock, 9:30 at night, and a local resident will come by and start asking her questions, and she's working again, even though she just spent a whole day working fighting for immigration rights and tenant advocacy at the community board, and then doing it again. So it's really important work. And the work that they've been doing really citywide, fighting for the tenant right laws and tenant right to council laws. These are things that are really going to start making changes and really affecting lives. So thank you all again for coming this evening and supporting NHN. Please stick around and mingle and get to know everyone. Thank you again for coming.